A fourth voice chimed in, the god he did not recognize, in the form of a large, bare-chested man with wild hair, wearing a loincloth and bearing a spear. He spoke with a deep, gruff tone and accent that reminded him of the Kislevite he had recently travelled with.
Perhaps it would be better to defer to the wisdom of the lady here. Her compassion should inspire a balance of reason in you.
Shalia commented at once.
Thank you for understanding, Herson. I would bring to light now that this man has no compassion in his heart. He has acted solely for himself. The punishment should therefore fit the crime.
There was silence. Dieter could feel his own heart beating in his ears as Moore was first to speak again.
As always, daughter, you impress upon me a truth that I have not seen. You get your wisdom from your mother. Very well, then.
Verena, the goddess of learning and justice, spoke decidedly.
Then before those gathered here, by the laws which bind us all, I pass sentence upon thee, Dieter Diath of Stirland. You have lived a selfish life, thinking only of yourself, leaving others to ruin in your game. You will soon learn what it is to care for another's well-being, mortal. The four that you travelled with since this morn were impressed upon your future, whether you wish it or not. Now their fates too will be impressed upon yours.
With those words, Dieter felt a searing pain burning into his chest like a hot branding iron against his naked flesh. He restrained a scream and pulled his shirt aside to look. Upon his chest he had been marked with the signs of a dove, a bear, the rune of Aesir, and the willwort symbol of a black rose inside an alchemy vial, Tobias's family crest. Verena continued,
When the last flicker of life leaves the eyes of the final member of this group, so shall your soul be forfeit and belong to more, when your sins shall be answered for. I have spoken, so shall it be.
The pain in Dieter's chest became suddenly unbearable. He clutched himself in agony, bent double as his surroundings began to swirl out of focus around him. He clenched his eyes shut to stop the unfolding scene, making him vomit, and then all was normal. He opened his eyes and could see that he was standing inside his house once more. His legs were shaking, his breathing unnatural. He tore aside his shirt and looked, expecting to see the branded marks. In truth, he had expected nothing, though, that this was a dream. To his horror, however, he saw the proof that it had been all too real. There upon him were the crests, deep in his skin. Quickly he buttoned up his shirt, packed a few supplies, and thought, which way were they leaving again? Ah yes, by the river. He ran in desperate haste, as if the fate of everything rested on him being on that river vessel in time. The Chaos Moon shone mockingly in the sky above him. He almost stumbled and kept himself upright by holding on to a nearby couple. As he ran on, he heard their shouting complaints behind him. They were not his concern. He concentrated his thoughts on finding the shortest route possible. The river barge was beginning to pull away. Maestro, Rysandria, Tordrad, and Tobias waved to Magnamus, and was that? Yes, Maestro's father had appeared to wave him off. He had made it in time for one last goodbye, albeit from a distance. Dieter had jumped over the ticket office barrier and continued past the guard stationed there. There was a shout of complaint from the nearby staff as Dieter threw a handful of coins on the floor behind him. That should be enough, he thought. He could see the barge now. It was too late. It had gone out too far. No, there was still a chance. It would pass by the city's bridge up ahead, but he knew he would have to beat it there. He ran with all his might, and there he saw a horse. It belonged to a soldier who was preparing to leave for the war. Dieter ran past the man, took up the beast's reins, put a foot up on the stirrup, and deftly hoisted himself upon the horse. Upon landing, he immediately brought his boots hard into the creature's flanks, pressing it into action in one fluid movement. Now he had a chance. He ignored the angry threats from the armed man left standing behind him. He didn't matter. As the group watched the barge passing through the city scenery, Tordrad spotted a very strange sight indeed. He pointed and said, "Dieter!" The others looked and saw that, quite unbelievably, Dieter was riding a horse through the city, keeping a pace with the barge as it moved. He pressed the great creature forwards. It was beginning to pick up speed, but the barge was moving away at a different angle now, putting yet more distance between them. The bridge was coming up soon. Dieter drove the horse forwards, knocking a few people down in the haste. They didn't matter either. Soon he was at the bridge. It was almost too late. He jumped down from the horse, looked and saw that the barge beneath had already disappeared to the other side of the bridge. He turned and ran blindly, with no idea if he was going to make it in time. He closed his eyes and jumped. He dared not pray. After his experiences with the gods, he did not want to involve them any more. With a crash, he landed on something hard, firm. Water was not firm, he thought. Had he made it? He opened his eyes and saw the scenery of the city was moving past him, even though he himself was not moving. He was sitting upon a cargo container high atop a pile of similar ones. Everybody present on the barge was looking up at him. He stood up, clambered down from the crates and boxes until he reached the deck, where he casually brushed himself off as if he'd meant to do it all. The group had arrived at him. Maestro was first to speak.
"Hello, Dieter! I thought you weren't coming with us after all."
Dieter shifted awkwardly on the spot and rubbed his still sore chest through his buttoned-up shirt. "I guess you left an impression on me," he said, and walked along the deck with them to take a seat. It was going to be a long journey.